Hello, I'm GXStoiker, and this is QnA Saturday, the weekly series I run on my channel, where I answer your questions about anything that has been asked on my channel over the past week or so. These tend to be about half split between questions about the next update for Minecraft console, TU53 or TU54, and questions about my life in general, including Russia and conspiracies, apparently. So that's what I'm going to be answering in today's video. Hopefully you all do enjoy it. You can like the video if you do, because it helps out the channel a lot, and let me know you do want to see more QnA Saturdays every single week. And also, if your question was answered by the end, you can leave it in the comments down below, because that's where I'll be picking questions for next week. So yeah, background gameplay is going to be a mixture of glide and tumble. I figured everyone's always complaining that it's, just battle over and over again, so let's mix it up and let's play the other two mini games. I don't think it's quite as exciting, but hopefully you don't agree with me, because let's get straight into the first question, which comes in from popular Gam33R, who says #QnA, do you think they'll add shaders to console, and if so, when? So the answer to this question is yes, and we actually had confirmation recently on a Wii U Wednesday stream. So the Minecraft team in Redmond, they do some streams every now and then, and they actually said that they do want to add shaders to console. This is like one of their desires, but the technical side of things is very tricky, because there's 7 consoles. A lot of those consoles are very old right now and wouldn't be able to support shaders. So the simple answer to this question is, when will they add shaders to console? When one of two things happens. Either let's call it 3 years time after they've dropped support for last gen. That's gonna be a really long time down the line, so probably not for right now, but at some point in the future they might decide to drop support for last gen and then add shaders to current gen. And the other option is when they come to the PC. The PC team have said for a while now, shaders as a part of Minecraft will make a lot of sense, because they just make the game look better. So when will shaders come to the console? Either in like 3 or 4 years when they work out the technical side of things, or whenever it comes to the PC, because they are obliged to bring the PC features to console, and that's kind of how that works. So yeah, when do I think it'll come? Soon, but how soon depends on a lot of things that are outside of everyone's control. So with that said, let me move on to the second question, which comes in from Kashem Ali, who says, you are now officially on Putin's hit list. So yeah, last time I said some things about I think I said nice things about Russia, but yeah, the thing is I feel like it is one of those scary countries where you got to kind of watch out for what you say on the internet, just in case they don't like the look you at the border and they'll look you up or something. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I know it happens in North Korea every now and then, so I'm gonna try and officially resist saying anything too specific or too negative about Russia, because I'm also going with a guy who works for I think it's the world's largest defense company. So every time he goes, he gets this giant briefing on okay, if Russians try to torture you for defense secrets, here's how you do it. And yeah, basically because of that, and the fact that I am, I guess, a public personality, you could call me, I do want to be just very careful what I say. And in case you're curious as to why I'm deliberately not talking too much about the Russia thing, it's just because of that. I'm gonna wait till I get out of the country, and then I can start talking about it a bit more. Whereas if I start tweeting inside the country, maybe bad things happen to me. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I like it when bad things don't happen to me. But maybe that's just me, and maybe it's just maybe everyone else disagrees with that. But that's just why I'm gonna be a little bit cautious about that. So yeah, I don't want to be on Putin's hit list. I'll watch out for it, Kashamali. Let's move to the third question, which comes in from 27 Only Gamers, who says, do you think there'll be a new minigame in TU53? So TU53 is arguably rolling out right now. There's a bug fix update that came out for the PS Vita that they didn't mention that maybe is coming out elsewhere, but presumably you can assume TU53 will be a bug fix. But what I assume you mean will the next big feature update for Minecraft on the consoles have a new minigame? And I think the answer is probably. I really would I think at this point we just need to admit minigames are appealing to such a tiny demographic. We need to go back to content updates. I think whether you do them all through the year or whether you mix them in with the minigames, I think there's just something that has to be done, because the system right now isn't working, right? I feel like that's definitely a fact. Even though Glide is probably the most popular minigame in a while, especially amongst players who don't play console regularly, so I think it's got that going for it, it's definitely only played by a small minority of the console players. And I think that I honestly think from a business perspective, these minigames sound like they make more money because, oh yeah, you can sell map packs and DLC, but really you're just kind of, you're over in, kind of covering people in this DLC of there's so many things to buy right now. People just feel oh, you have to buy this and then you have to buy that, and that's not a good feeling at all. And I imagine it probably even makes less money. I was actually, again, no one knows the numbers, so I can't say for sure. They're probably doing it because there's some benefit. I think that based on the number of sales we know the map pack has, though, it has something 10,000 sales max. It's probably way less than that, 5,000. And even at £2.49 a map pack sale, that's 24,000, which is a lot of money. But when you compare it, when you consider that Minecraft sells for close to £24 or something each, you need 1,000 copies to break even. Every single major update they put out for a game must sell more than 1,000 new copies of the game, because you get everyone excited that's playing right now. Someone who doesn't play it but their friends are all playing it, they're going to want to prop on that game. So I really do feel even though DLC sounds like it's a good idea, when you actually see the number of sales it has, that's one platform, so on all the platforms maybe it's more, but I feel the the end result of just having content updates must be more profitable, and it's what people want. So will there be a new minigame? Probably, but I really think there shouldn't be, and I think if they're going to do a minigame, they need to realize, let's have some survival changes to get everyone excited. It just makes sense, and I don't know why they haven't. I think, I would hope, in the same way that, like, this update has been the worst one for feedback for me, I would hope that 4J has seen that too. But there's only one way to know, and that is when TU54 or whatever rolls out. And yeah, that will probably be at some point this summer, if I had to guess, based on totally not secret information. So with that said, let me move on to the next question, which comes in from the Grand Moff Tarkin, sorry, who says, Toycat, have you ever believed in a major conspiracy? And the answer to this question is, I feel like I'm the type of person who would believe in conspiracy theories. Like, I feel like it would be probably easy enough to convince me, but most conspiracy theories are terrible, because, you know, the idea for conspiracy theory is like, oh, here's, you know, this piece of information we do know, here's this piece of information we don't, therefore this giant group that controls us all got in charge and did that. And although part of me, you know, it's like, oh yeah, wow, big group of, you know, control stuff, all conspiracy theories are so poorly put together, because all it takes is like, whoa, man, I know something that's not the truth. Do you want to hear it? Wow, yeah, it was the government that destroyed those towers. Oh, do you want to know about Princess Diana? For some reason, the Queen killed her so she would live on forever rather than slowly fading out from the public life. That's what really happened. Or like, I feel like most conspiracy theories are just terrible. Like, you know, the moon landing thing, the amount of money it would cost to fake a moon landing, and like, you think if we faked the moon landing, or, you know, the Americans faked the moon landing, do you think the Russians wouldn't call them out on it? Because that was a really big deal in the space race. There's just all these things of like, don't you know, there's always checks and balances in the world. When there's not, then you can see a conspiracy theory, but then it kind of happens in the plain sight. So yeah, have I believed in a major conspiracy? No. The closest one I've gone though to, okay, so this is ridiculous, but I know it's probably disprovable, but I looked into it and it's still a bit suspicious that, you know, JFK, the president in the 60s of the US, basically he got shot by 2 bullets at the same time, or like, you know, 2 bullets so quick that they couldn't have been from the same guy, or something like that. So it's a little bit suspicious already. And then the guy who shot JFK, he got shot before he could say anything about it. And then the guy that shot JFK, that shot the assassin of JFK, Lee Harvey Oswald, I think that guy then got shot or died in hospital before he could say anything. And it's like, this is suspicious. That is like, I feel like that's the closest thing there is to a conspiracy. I don't think it probably is a conspiracy. I think it's more like, oh yeah, this crime boss wanted him dead because he didn't like Democrats or something. But, you know, I reckon it's something like that. But I haven't ever believed in a conspiracy beyond that, because, again, most conspiracies are just so poorly thought out. It's just like, whoa, wouldn't it be crazy if this piece of information we all believe wasn't true? And they're like, oh yeah, so, you know, Finland doesn't really exist. Have you ever seen it on a map? Fake maps. Ever been there like me? Fake part of Sweden. Yep, that's right, Finland doesn't exist, guys. You heard it here first. So, with that said, let me move to the fifth, you know, question, which comes in from Owen Jones, who says, hashtag QnA. Hey, Toycat, you know how you get triggered by hot water? What triggers you about Minecraft? So, yeah, I've been triggered on a few streams recently because of the whole hot water thing. I still don't have it in my house because it's like, you know, so many weeks worth of installation. A little bit annoying because it costs like, you know, someday one of you will be a homeowner out there and you'll be like, oh yeah, hot water sucks. Let's just not have it. So that's why hot water triggers me. But what triggers me about Minecraft, I think the biggest one is when people put gravel in their builds to like add texture to it and say, oh, look how fancy this gravel path is. But to me, it just looks terrible. I have never seen gravel mixed in with a pathway and it actually looked too amazing. Like, I've done it in my Let's Play world, and it really, really, you know, just looks like gravel mixed in with grass to me. So yeah, that triggers me one of the most things. And in fact, I've been considering for a while now to like make a video of just like things that trigger me about Minecraft, because there are so many things that when I watch other people or see other people play, I'm just like, ah, this is the worst thing in the world ever. And I was thinking of making a video on that. So there we go. There's an idea that you might see at some point soon. Things that trigger Toycat. So yeah, well, let's let me move on to the next question, which comes in from, it'd be like, I guess it'd be like, oh, things I hate that people do. So the next question comes in from SnakeJ419, who says, how long do you think YouTube will last, and will you move to a new video sharing platform after it's gone? So simple question, how long will YouTube last? I think it's got a long time left in it. Like, it's not gonna be gone tomorrow or anything like that, I don't imagine. But like, will I move into another video sharing platform, and like, you know, what's the deal with that? So I think, you know, YouTube has this thing where like, it's been on top of the market because it does so well with the video quality. It does so well, you know, in terms of like how well it compresses it. It does 4K if you want to do it. So there's good stuff on that end. But then it also it does the you know, monetization thing so well that like there's, even if you went to another site that paid double as much as YouTube, you wouldn't get, you know, you'd get like half as many views or less. So it still makes sense to stay on YouTube, and that's why YouTube does so well. But now there's like no money in YouTube, and you know, people like me, that's fine. Like, I'm just about making do. I can do this for a little bit longer and then, you know, work out something off that. But there are some creators who are right on the edge of like, you know, they can maybe they pay their rent this month or they can't, and now YouTube can't pay for them, so they have to go somewhere else to make their money. And I think that's going to be a surprisingly common thing. I think YouTube has to do something, like maybe just invest like $1 billion into advertising its own platform or something. It needs to do something to lure people back in, because there's a very, very bad system on YouTube right now. I've heard it's going to be fixed in some number of months, but we don't know for sure. We just know that, oh yeah, bad things on YouTube. And I think as to whether I will move elsewhere, probably not. I think YouTube is what I love. I love reaching a wide audience, even if I make less money from it, because the entire thing I love about this YouTube channel, and indeed the other one, is like, oh yeah, I can share, you know, these cool pieces of information that I would like to share with people, and like, you know, thousands of people will watch. There's like, I feel like, you know, some YouTube channels have much wider reaches than TV shows, because there's just so many people on YouTube that it's, to me, I'm fine with like, you know, making less money, but there are just some people who can't, and that's why I think YouTube might eventually end if they don't do something. So there you go, there's your update on the adpocalypse. I'm not too worried, but it's starting to get there, starting to get one. So with that said, let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Alex Gruber, who says, Toycat, do you think that there being a chance to get a sponge when fishing would be a good idea? I have no ocean monument, but I really want a few sponges in my survival world. Answer to this question is yeah. I think there are so many changes like this that 4J should add for things that like don't generate as often as, okay, so there's on PC there's lots of rare things, but you can always find them eventually if you just walk for, you know, like 80,000 blocks or something. But on console, if you don't have an ocean monument, you just don't have access to guardians, you don't have access to you know, the sponges stuff, and I think that should be fixed with fishing. I think we should have an additional rare drop on console for the sponge. I think this is one of the things like we can lobby for that they could do really easily. I think there's a lot of like, you know, shulker shoals, for instance. I think there should be a way to get them somewhere in the end, or, you know, shulkers should be spawnable when that does come out. There's a lot of features like this. I think I might have even made a video on like renewable, non-renewable features that we should have in the game, and I really, really would like to see that come, because what they did with glowstone dust, because there's only so much glowstone in the Nether, they made it so you could get glowstone from blazes, and that makes the console more interesting and different than the PC, rather than just being like this worse scaled down thing. And I think doing that with more items would make the game better and less down to this whole like, oh, you don't have an ocean monument, no sponges for you ever. So yeah, I would agree with you entirely. Let's put that in again at 4J Studios. Make sure you tweet him. Tell him to make it so you can fish for sponges because of this reason. So yeah, that's it. Let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Nathaniel Redcat. Sorry, not Nathan, but Nathaniel Redcat, who says, #question, if you could add any animal to Minecraft, what would it be and why? So number one choice, dragon. Dragons are good, right? Everyone loves dragons. Number two choice, if you say, well, dragons aren't an animal, Toycat, because they're not real, maybe like a bear or something. I'd like to see some form of big mob. I guess we don't have polar bears, but I'd like to see some form of big mob that can actually threaten you, and that would actually be like kind of a mini fight, so that you want to run away from it, and so that the daytime, it's not scary, but there's something that could scare you in the daytime. So yeah, bears in Minecraft. I mean, we already have all of them in the live stream chat, right? So we might as well put them in Minecraft as well. So, yeah, that's it. Let's move on to the next question, which comes in from Mason Lloyd, who says, #QnApples. What is the one thing you've always wondered about yourself? So, maybe you are asking, like, you know, I wish I could see into my own soul and see what I really thought about llamas or something. But no, the thing that I immediately come to mind with when you ask this question is, like, would it be great if I've had the fear that when you die, you see all your stats in your lifetime and you can, like, restart and be like, you know, I ran 60,000 kilometers this lifetime. Let's see if I can do better this time. So, yeah, as far as, you know, what's one thing I've always wondered about myself, I would love to see my lifetime stats. I would love to see how many hamburgers I've eaten. I'd love to see how many miles I've run. I'd love to see how many words I've said. I bet I probably say more words than the average human being because, you know, I do so much time talking like this. Or maybe I say less. Maybe I say way less because I don't talk to as many people. I would love to see all of these stats and know where I am in relation to the average. You know, have I walked more steps than average? I don't know. How many slices of bacon have I eaten? Probably a little bit less than average, but who knows? You know, like how much money have I earned my entire life? I could probably work that out. But, you know, how much money have I spent on books? Not very much. But I'd love to see every stat ever. In fact, I'd pay someone to, like, follow me around and, like, record everything I did, just so you could, like, see it later and know where you are in regards to the world. So, yeah, it was one thing I always wondered about myself. Every single thing, every single stat and how it relates to other people. I want to know what I'm the best in the world at. Like, maybe it's like, oh, yeah, Toycat, you have read the most pages of a book in the least amount of time. Or, you know, maybe you've played the most hours of Minecraft Xbox One in the row. I don't know what it is, but I'd love to know what my thing is. So with that said, let's move on to the final question, which comes in from Smarty8323, who says, how about doing a survival series on one of these downloaded battle/glide maps? So I think you know, like doing a survival series on that would be really, really weird, but I think like a UHC or something like that, or some form of minigame where it's in survival, would be a really cool idea. And I love reading comments like this. As you can see, it's got 17 thumbs up, and I even gave it a little heart. You can see it's got it is on heart's great. So yeah, as in regards to like, will I actually do that? I would love to do something like this, and I would also love love it if you guys could suggest weird ideas like this. If I'm going to be entirely honest, like when there's no survival updates, I always, am working on something, some weird ideas. But people like to say like, oh, Tweakout, you ran out of ideas. That's not how that works. If I ran out of ideas, I would have no videos. But there are sorts of things where I like to try and mix things up when there's no survival updates, and that is an idea I really love for that. And if you have any ideas where you're like, oh, I wish Tweakout would do this, put it in the comments down below. Probably won't be able to do it because that's, there's going to be like thousands of comments in there and only one of me. But I'd love to read all of the suggestions as well as any questions you did have that weren't answered today. But for now, I hope you have all enjoyed QnA Saturday. You can like it if you liked it, share if you really liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel. And if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.